What's going on, guys? Killer6 back with another legendary item guide for you, and this time we're going to go take on Skyspanner Kratch here in the Terminus range, which is on the right hand side of the map. And you will notice that this thing requires me to do some traveling to get there the first time, and I found that the best place to start from is the Heritage Opus safe house, which is right here. If you start from this place, the same spot that we did our previous Terminus range farm for the drill site down here, then it's actually going to make you go all the way around this mountain anyhow. So I found that this one's just the best overall option. So let's begin our route, and it's actually going to take us out this door instead of jumping off the cliff there. Now, if this place looks familiar to you, that's because you actually had to go here during the story. So this is basically just taking us back to a story location. Now, I hope that one day in the future that Gearbox will actually say, hey, you know what? Let's make it so you can just fast travel right to this Encore machine. And if you think that they should do that, then leave a comment down below letting them know as well. Maybe they'll see that and they'll say, hey, you know what? The fans actually don't want to have to run across the maps over and over when they want to farm a boss. Because honestly, I'm just going to ignore every single enemy in here, so why make me do all this just so I can go farm for a piece of gear that I need for my build? You know what I mean? And make no mistake, this is a ridiculously long run just to get to this boss. You'll notice that I honestly, I don't think anybody is farming this boss, and it's kind of a shame because he actually has some pretty good drops, but it's such a pain to get to him that nobody wants to go through that. But here we are, we're now at the boss. If this is your first time fighting Skyspanner Kratch, well, then you're on your story mission, and congratulations, you're making some progress. But otherwise, you're gonna have to purchase this big encore every single time after that to fight him. So how do we handle the Skyspanner Kratch? Well, he's a flying enemy, so you're gonna need something that handles flying enemies. In my case, I just use my homing replicator chuck because that thing will just track him down for me, and then I don't have to like try and aim accurately and all that fun stuff. Well, on the first run we got nothing, so we go back here to the back of the arena, and that's where we'll find our red chest right here, and also the portal that takes us back to refarm him again. So I'll skip ahead to the point where we actually get his drops. Now you'll also notice that I'm farming him on UVH 1 because it does not matter what ultimate level you fight this guy on. His dedicated drops are the same no matter if you're on Ultimate 1, Ultimate 5, Ultimate 6, or even if you're on easy mode. Dedicated drops are not affected by the game level that you play at. And a lot of people still seem to think that the ultimate mode actually affects like the part variants that you're going to get on items. It doesn't. The only thing that's changed by ultimate level, it seems, is your firmwares that you can get. There are some firmwares that are only available on ultimate levels. There's one firmware that's only available on Ultimate 6. So keep that in mind if you are looking for pieces of firmware. There we go. We finally got a drop. We got the Hoarder. Oh, we got a shiny. We got a shiny while recording this video. Unbelievable. There we go. There's our shiny linebacker. Holy crap. And finally, the Hellfire. Oh my goodness, that took forever to get. So in the time it took me to get the Hellfire, I had 5 Hoarder shields, 8 linebackers, including the shiny linebacker dropped. And then finally, 31 minutes into the farm, we finally got the Hellfire. Now, 31 minutes is actually fine. I'm good with that. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how many other things that I got before I got the Hellfire. All right, up first, we have the linebacker shotgun. This legendary torque shotgun has a DPS of 3,747, a base damage of 1,016 times 4, accuracy 71%, the reload speed is 1.9, fire rate 1.1 shots per second, and a ammo clip of 12. And this one, as you can see, also does splash damage, which will be pretty obvious when you actually see this thing in action. Gold text says full coverage, bouncing projectiles increase damage by 25%, and damage radius by 35% per bounce. Red text says put me in. So let's put him in and see what he does. All right, so at the dummies here at the firing range and sanctuary, you can see that if we shoot once, it will bounce repeatedly and sometimes bounce back at you, making it pretty dangerous to use from close range, as is often the case with splash weapons. You can also see that it does do very good damage and it will hit multiple times on an enemy. The trick then becomes, how far away do you need to stand in order to not die from this thing? And well, I found that there's not really a safe distance. You got to watch for the rebounds. So that's where your true safety net's going to lie, is watching out for those rebounds. Now, if you hit them with a crit knife and you do some damage with this, then you're going to get even more out of it. As you can see, it's going to crit, and you're also going to get all that splash damage. Now, in terms of like hitting multiple targets, if we just shoot down the street here, you'll see that we hit this guy, we hit that guy, we hit that guy, and it seems that it bounces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times at least. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So you're going to get 5 bounces out of that. And I don't know if that's consistent across all versions of this, but it definitely seems to be consistent from my testing of it as well. I would think that if you combine this thing with high caliber and you shoot down and through them, it could like potentially do some serious damage. I know that a lot of people have been using the Linebacker versus Bloom Reaper for the crystals phase, and I would imagine even just using it on Bloom Reaper himself would be pretty decent, especially if this thing truly can come into various elements like I've been told that it can. But yeah, this thing is actually pretty dang nice. It's not like the fastest time to kill or anything like that, but in terms of a Torg shotgun, I'm actually enjoying this quite a bit. This does do pretty nice damage, but I could see this being strong on any build where you're utilizing some sort of splash build. Up next is the Hoarder. This Vladov shield has a armor bar on it. You can see that the armor capacity is 7,170. You got 4 armor segments on this one that I've got, and it has a 22% armor damage reduction. Mine is resistant to cryo, but it can spawn in all the various elements or be non-elemental resistant as well. Gold text on this says refreshments. On kill, 50% chance to spawn an ammo booster that instantly refills your gun. And this thing will always roll with these other 2 perks, absorb and scavenger. It always rolls with those 2. You cannot get any other version of this thing. The red text says BYO bullets, which just means bring your own bullets. So using this shield, and I'll go ahead and use the Hellfire with it so you can kind of get 2 birds stoned at once. You can see that as we kill enemies and as we get that booster, then we get ammo back. Boom, just like that. So I don't have to reload, which is a really cool feature. And normally these things auto pick up, yep, like that. And when they do, that means that you'll keep yourself into the fight without having to constantly be stuck in a reload while enemies are shooting at you. And if you are doing a lot of mobbing, you just need to like be aware of like where you've killed previous enemies and kind of be aware of if they had dropped a booster or not, because you could just run back through that area, grab another booster whenever you're low, and that way you don't have to worry about reloading ammo. So this shield I would think would be really good, especially on like Harlow, my Harlow at least, who doesn't have anything that helps with reload speed, which is a bit of a problem for my Harlow at the moment. Yeah, I really do actually like this shield a little bit more than I expected to be honest with you guys. Most of the time I'm all about those offensive shields. You guys know me. I love my B. I love my Revolter from Borderlands 3 and the Super Soldier, which is also in this game. I really like those kind of shields more than I like defensive shields a lot of times. But yeah, I really like this shield a lot, and I actually think that I will utilize it on my Harlow going forward. Up next is the Hellfire. Now, this is a returning legendary from basically every single Borderlands game. It's nice to have something that returns across all the games, even if it does get bastardized along the way. So the Hellfire has gone through various manufacturers over the years, and now it's on Ripper, and it actually works fairly well in this game. When I saw that it was Ripper the first time, I was a little concerned, but it's actually pretty damn good. So you can see the DPS on this is 3,902. You got a base damage of 882, 76% accuracy, 2-second reload time, 6.8 shots per second, and a 32 mag. And you can also see it does splash damage, not a very large splash radius though. It's always going to be fire elemental. The gold text says burning desire. Now the one that I've got here is a shrapnel cannon as well as a Hyperion part, and it's always going to have the Ripper part on it. Red text says all hell can't stop us now, which is a reference to Rage Against the Machine. This thing is going to be a bit of a machine, believe it or not. It's actually better than you might expect, especially after the Borderlands 3 version of the Hellfire was so horrible. So it's nice to see that this thing is actually pretty good again. It's not going to be like your highest DPS SMG in the game or anything like that, but it does do the job. So according to Loot Lemon, what this gun does is after initial charge, you will fire your bullets in a linear trajectory, dealing fire splash damage. So it just shoots bullets. That's like the less fancy way of describing that. Let's use it versus some pangolins here just so you can see it versus some basic enemies. Yeah, you can see does great versus enemies that are weak to fire. If you bring up this He brought up this armor shield, so we had to work our way through that. Yeah, anything that's weak to fire is going to take some pretty good damage from this thing. And if you built around, you know, higher fire rate or, you know, splash damage, then you're going to get even more use out of this thing. The Hellfire is actually a lot better than the Borderlands 3 version, thank God, because it really couldn't be much worse than the Borderlands 3 version if we're being completely honest with ourselves. Yeah, any enemy that is weak to fire is going to get pretty well shredded from this, even though we're on Ultimate 6. And you can see there's a nice little dot damage that it applies as well. But you're not going to want to stop shooting once you start shooting either. Go ahead and kill off all these guys, get Pango Bango in here, and that way you guys can see how this thing does versus a boss. We keep picking up our boosters from our Hoarder shield so we keep our ammo going without having to reload. Again, with a wombo combo, this seems like it would be such a great shield. Just shoot it forever, you know what I mean? Just shoot your wombo combo forever with this shield. Now the one that I got also has a scrap cannon roll on it. I don't know if that's like every single Hellfire has that, or if you have like an option to get some other under barrel roll, but scrap cannon did really nice damage there. Yeah, you can see that if you really just pile on the damage, this the Hellfire can do some pretty good work. And there, just like that, Pango Bango down. Now this guy's resisting fire, but we're just going to keep on shooting because, you know, I'm crazy like that. I don't resist fire, quit that. Let's say we pair this with something even stronger. Like, let's pair it with my super soldier shield, for example. So with the super soldier, I'll get more bullets out faster. That means even more damage. There's a bunch of different ways that you can make the Hellfire even stronger, but I think that it's actually a pretty good gun. It's not going to be like, probably not like an S tier option for most people, but still a pretty good gun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit subscribe, tap the bell icon for more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all take care.